If you're watching this, your I-130 interview has been scheduled, and I want you to feel confident and prepared as soon as you set foot inside that immigration building. This video will walk you through everything, what the interview is actually for, what to bring, what they're going to ask, how to handle an interpreter if you need one, and a few things most people don't know going in. Watch this video all the way through, take any notes, and if you have questions, we can go over them during our Zoom or in-person meeting. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what this interview is actually for, because a lot of clients come in very nervous. The I-130 is the family petition. When you filed it, we were telling the government, hey, this person is my family member, and I'm asking you to recognize that relationship. This interview is the government's way of verifying that everything we put on the petition is true. So most likely you filed this petition for your spouse. For this type of case, the officer's main job is to confirm that your marriage is real, that it's a genuine relationship, not one you entered into just to get an immigration benefit. So that's pretty much it. They're not trying to trick you or catch you in a lie necessarily. They're just verifying the relationship. So if your marriage is real, and I know it is, then you can walk in there as someone who simply has to show them what you already know to be true. First, documents. This can be an issue, so please pay close attention. Here's what you need to bring to the interview. First and foremost, your appointment notice, the letter that has the scheduling of this interview. Do not leave home without it. Next, both spouses need identification. This can be driver's license, a state ID, a passport, cedula from another country, another government-issued ID. If it's expired or close to expiring, we need to discuss that. Original passport, original birth certificate with translation. We have most likely turned in the translation already. And we've turned in copies of all of these documents, but you will need the original for the interview in case they want to inspect it. So proof that the petitioner is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. So that's the petitioner's green card, birth certificate if they were born in the United States, or naturalization certificate. For marriage cases, your original marriage certificate, birth certificates of any children born in the relationship, and additional evidence of your bona fide marriage. We turned in a lot of these documents, but since time has passed, please bring updated taxes if you filed taxes, if the tax year changed. You can bring updated joint bank account statements. If you moved, updated lease agreement or mortgage statement, updated insurance policies, maybe a few photos that you have, if you traveled together, travel records. Please get all of these documents together before we meet. What to expect at the interview. When you go into the USCIS building, you will pass through security, and they will let you know where to deposit your appointment notice. When it is your turn, the officer that will interview you will collect the notice and call you back into the office. So there are some preliminary steps that they go through with everyone. First, they will check your ID. They want to make sure they're interviewing the right person, so have your ID ready. Next, they will read a memorandum of understanding, letting you know that the interview is voluntary. You can stop it at any point. If you stop it, they will make a decision based on the information they have. Anything you say can be used in immigration court. They will make sure you're not taking any medication that affects your ability to answer questions. They will make sure you agree and want to continue the interview. Once you agree, they will have both petitioner and beneficiary raise their right hand and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Once sworn in, they will take fingerprints, index finger only, of the beneficiary, the immigrant. and they will take a photo. Okay, so now we're ready to dive in. What kind of questions will they ask you? This is what causes the most anxiety and nervousness. For marriage-based cases where we're just talking about the family petition, most questions fall into a couple categories. First, your background information. So maybe it's been 6 months, maybe it's been 6 years, but they want to make sure your information is the most up-to-date and accurate. So they will ask full names, date of birth, address, maybe how you entered the United States, your date of marriage, where your spouse is working, things like that. These should be just basic background questions. Second are the relationship questions. So this is the heart of the interview. The officer wants to understand your relationship. So officers have different styles. Some may separate the couple. That doesn't mean anything is wrong necessarily. Some are very question answer format, and others you feel like you're just having a conversation with a new person you just met who wants to learn about you. The questions tend to be similar. They really want to understand the trajectory of your relationship. So when did you meet your spouse? How did you meet? When did you start dating? Did you meet each other's families? When did you get engaged? How did you propose? Where was your wedding? Who was there? Where did you go on your honeymoon? When did you start living together? So the history of the relationship. They'll ask if you have children. And then they want to know what your life is like now. They may ask about your home. How many bedrooms are there? What color is the front door? Things of that nature. And they may ask your spouse's work schedule. They may ask who does the cooking? How do you divide up the chores? How do you get the kids to soccer practice and ballet? What do you like to do together as a family? What do you like to do together as a couple? Do you know each other's parents? How often are you in communication with them? So we can talk about those more in detail, and we'll give you a list of questions to go over. One thing to note is that it's important to listen to the question and answer just that question. A couple short sentences is fine. If they would like more detail, they will ask for more detail. A quick note about an interpreter. If English is not you or your spouse's primary language, you may bring an interpreter to the interview. Previously, USCIS would call an interpreter, however, they no longer offer that service. Your interpreter must be fluent in both English and your language. It cannot be your attorney because that's a conflict. It should also not be someone with a personal stake in your case. So your spouse cannot interpret for you. We highly recommend that you hire someone who does this professionally rather than use a family friend because the stakes are high. The language is sometimes different words, different vocabulary than people are used to. We need someone who's going to just repeat the question and repeat the answer in different languages. The interpreter cannot help you. They can't change your answer. They can't summarize. Their job is just to translate what the officer says and what you say. So please make sure that if you are using an interpreter, that you feel confident this person can do the task at hand, simply translate. And also make sure you bring the proper form, and they will need ID as well for the interview. If at any time during the interview you don't understand the question, even after it's been translated, It is okay to say, I don't understand, can you please rephrase, or can you please repeat the question? That's much better than guessing and answering the wrong thing. One thing that we mentioned previously is that some officers like to separate the couple and interview each one individually. It's better to be prepared for this because, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong. Especially now with higher scrutiny at USCIS, it's just kind of an easy way for officers to get the information they need. So if this happens, try to stay calm and answer the same way you would together. Honest tidbits from your real life. Again, the officers aren't trying to fit your relationship into a particular box. Relationships come in all shapes, forms, and they understand that. What they're checking is just to make sure that the relationship is real. So answer honestly and try to stay calm. Small differences are okay. For example, if one person says the blanket on their bed is blue and the other says navy, that's fine. What matters is just consistency across all of the questions and being honest and genuine. And now a few final tips, a few practical items for the day of your interview. Try to arrive 15 to 20 minutes early. Dress professionally. That means no hat, kind of business casual at a minimum. You are making an impression, even if it's subconscious. Please leave your phone in the car or silence it before you walk in. Speak clearly and at a normal speed. If you're nervous, take a breath, slow down. If you don't understand a question, ask for clarification. Never guess. Do not bring children, babies, or extra guests unless it is absolutely necessary. And finally, try to breathe and relax. You're prepared. Your attorney has prepared your case. We've prepared you so you can walk in with confidence. I know that the immigration process can feel overwhelming, and an interview date on the calendar can bring up a lot of stress and anxiety. But we're here because we have prepared and planned for this step, and we're here to show the government that you have built a real life with your spouse. If you have questions about your case, we will have a meeting to go over your specific questions. We're here for you.